Yo, what's going on everyone? Guiding Light here, and in this one I want to show you guys how it is and where you can find all of the legacy items here in 007 First Light. Now this will get you guys the achievement called a Legacy of Spycraft, and luckily this should only take a few minutes if you've already beaten the entire campaign. So I suggest just beating the entire campaign first. The reason why is because you'll be able to load back into very specific checkpoints, which will allow you guys to collect all of these very quickly. So I'm going to show you guys where you can find all 9 of these, starting with the very first one. Now, this one will be found in the Against All Odds mission. What you'll want to do is go to the main menu, go to the campaign where it will ask you to select a mission. Do this and then simply select Against the Odds. Now, what will happen is it will ask you guys to load into a different save. Be sure not to overwrite your original save file. So load it into the central camp save, put it on easy, and then simply make a new save profile. This way you don't overwrite your original save, and this will help when trying to find all of the other mementos. So very quickly, once you guys load into this, you'll notice you're perched up on top of this cliff. Again, this is the central camp checkpoint, and luckily we can find this collectible very quickly. So as you guys can see, right when you spawn in, you're going to find this container in front of you, which is labeled F8. Simply walk in here and you should find the very first legacy item located right here. Now, luckily, I was able to test this out, and as soon as the legacy item is picked up, the game will autosave. So simply pick up the item and give the game about half a second or so to autosave. At this point, you can actually back out of the mission. You don't have to worry about hitting any other checkpoints or things like that, and it will save your progress, which makes collecting these very easy, and you can get it done pretty quickly. So as you can see, very quickly, we're going to just get this first collectible. It's going to be the cruciform key. And as you can see, we're just going to very quickly back out and return to the main menu. Now, what you can do is you can go into the tactical simulations. And if you load into tactical simulations, it will actually show you guys all of the legacy items you have. And this way you can actually make sure that the progress saved once you backed out if you really want to confirm it. So as you guys can see, when loading in here, you can take a look at this board. It'll show you guys all of the legacy items. As you can see, we just got the cruciform key, simply backed out of the mission, and it saved our progress here, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, once you've done this, return back to the main menu, and I will very quickly show you where the remaining 8 are. So again, select a mission. We just completed Against All Odds. This time, you want to load into a different mission. It's going to be called a matter of considerable delicacy. And at that point, you actually want to load into the field equipment. Like now that we have this new save point, we're going to just go back into that new save file we just created. Again, make sure you do not overwrite the original. Now, so long as you load into this checkpoint, again, this will be extremely fast. Just simply load in and you will find these shoes located directly in front of you. Pick them up or inspect them. Give the game about half a second again, and then just simply quit back to the main menu. Now, for this next mission, you're going to want to go into All the Time in the World. It's going to be the very next mission over. Load into The Game is On, and again, just put it on easy. We're now going to load into that old save again, right after we just completed that last collectible. Now, this one won't be right next to the checkpoint, but it will only take about a minute to collect. Once you spawn in, you should load into this hallway. Continue forward and simply complete the progress until you reach this balcony where you will now be overlooking the chess match and you'll have free reign to roam around the map. Now, once this cutscene is over, simply follow my path. There's going to be a secret corridor which you may not have explored because it does not have much to do with the main mission. And that is why you may have very easily missed this legacy item. So if you remember from this mission, this is where room 205 was. We simply start upstairs and you'll be able to eavesdrop on this conversation. Now, don't worry about any of this. Just simply head downstairs and take the very first right you see down this hallway. Now, now back here, there will actually be a conversation going on about these two guys talking, and you're going to see that there's some more clues you can get. Again, you don't really have to worry about any of these. Instead, just head to the very far back. You'll find this room with these two doors open, and these guys are going to be talking. Now, right here on this table, you'll be able to collect the next legacy item, which is going to be the chess biography. Again, just simply back out of the mission, and then I'll show you guys where you can find the very next collectible. Now, this next one is going to be a little bit more in depth. This one probably takes the longest. Go into the Past Never Dies and go into the Black Market checkpoint. Now, again, we are going to overwrite that new save which we just made, and again, just put it on easy to make it nice and easy. So from All the Time in the World, go on to the Past Never Dies, the Black Market checkpoint. And from there, you will now load into this exact point. Now, in order to complete this, like I said, this one's going to be probably the longest one to get because it requires a very specific amount of steps to complete. And you do have to do a bit of the mission first before you can find it. Now, there's a ton of different ways that you can actually go about completing this mission. If you guys remember, one of the side quests during this to collect some of the auction fee money was to find a crypto wallet. Now, I'm going to show you guys how you can do this if you haven't done it already, but you'll want to walk around the market and follow this path until eventually you find this guy talking on his cell phone. So simply follow this path and you're going to want to complete this small side quest. The first hint is to go and eavesdrop on this character. So I'll show you guys exactly where you can find them.
My friend, watch yourself. Kill quick. Kill quick. You think Gallery looks fun? I know. Never seen anything.
All for the pistols and stay. That's your ice cream. Hey, tourist.
Original auto parts and the best deals in LA.
One bite of brush, it's smooth.
He might as well have been waving a giant red flag around. Did you see how active Stone was? He's pulling a lot of money.
Straight from the sea to your pan. No middleman.
Four of them. Oh, so you lift at the jeep.
Hey, my friend, over here.
Up and try your
You
luck.
need a gun.
All you have
Best
to
prices
do
in the
hit
market.
target
Brought my own.
and walk away
Thanks.
with what seems
Know what they
big,
say.
beautiful
Real
prize.
men
Don't cry
real
out in the left. Cash. Nobody's ever worked. Hey, tourist.
250. Have you
I
lost
told
your
you,
mind?
you will get your money as soon as I have it. Over here. Please don't just mess with the storage.
Louis, are you really telling me that machine gun
Will you stop panicking and let me think for a minute? Zara, you told
So after eavesdropping on this character, what you'll want to do is go and hack his phone, which you can do using the Q watch with one of the abilities. Now at this point, the progress bar will begin to increase and you want to follow him until it reaches 100. Now you may get to a point where he actually locks himself behind this trade post, and what you'll have to do is activate the fan in order to get inside and increase this timer. Now from here, there will be another quest step, which will have you guys going and stealing the wallet. So head over to this new waypoint and simply distract this person by either activating something or around the area to distract them. And then at that point, you just want to pick their pocket. Now that you finally have the hardware wallet, you can continue on to get the collectible. It's going to be located behind these gates. So for the next step, it will ask you guys to go to a cell tower and a new waypoint will pop up having you guys head behind these gates. Now you will want to continue through this area. There's going to be a ton of enemies to take out. You want to get almost to the very end essentially. So you're going to continue forward. There's going to be a bunch of enemies to take out. Open up a few doors and eventually you will get to a point where you have to climb this blue pipe. Now, after climbing this blue pipe, you're going to encounter your very first brute enemy. This is going to be a heavy hitting enemy that's going to be tough to take down. And you'll know when you've gotten there when you have to bust through these wooden walls. Now, after taking out the brute, there's going to be a few more wooden walls to take out. And you'll notice that you're going to be very close to the cell tower when you start to climb along these beams. Now, do not complete the main objective. I'm going to show you guys exactly where you need to go to get this collectible before leaving the mission. So after breaking through these wooden panels, you're going to notice there's a small jumping puzzle to actually get to the cell tower. Now, this is where you will find the collectible. So before climbing up to the tower, simply follow this path. You're going to be able to get this item that is stuffed along this corner, but you have to get to a very specific beam first in order to reach it. So you'll notice we'll jump across here and make it as if you're going to climb up the cell tower. You're going to get to a point where you have to shimmy across. Now simply follow this path and I'll take you guys directly to the collectible.
Jump. Just jump!
wonder if you could play Pong on this.
So luckily that's the hardest one to get. After getting this ATAC device, simply go back to the main menu and I'll show you guys how you can very quickly get the rest of them. So now head back to the main menu and you want to go to the uninvited mission. Now from the uninvited mission, go to the get upstairs checkpoint, and now you can just very simply follow the same process of loading into that old save. Now, luckily, the rest of these are going to be pretty easy. So you're going to spawn in here at the gala, and you're going to notice right across from you there is a sign which is labeled cafe. Simply head into this room, and in the corner you will now find one of the very last collectibles you need.
Don't recognize him. Beg your pardon? Say I ever talked to the man. On the shared elevator once. That's about it.
Saw her in Bratislava once. Mozart's 40th in G minor.
Now again, you can back out of this mission after getting this. There's only going to be 2 more to collect that are pretty easy to get. Next up, load into Nightfall. We're going to go down to the penthouse objective. And if you don't remember how to complete this, what you'll have to do is actually bust through this door to your right. There's going to be a switch to activate, and then you'll be able to walk up to the top of the penthouse. Now, luckily, once up to the top of the penthouse, the collectible will be located right here at the top of the stairs. So head up the stairs and very quickly make a right. You should see a badge located on this desk. After collecting this, you can simply back out and we'll almost be done.
Swanky. Place could use a rug. That note you passed me. Your phone number?
You wish. Sir Nicholas forgets his passwords like
Blades.
everyone else.
Guess
He
why
wrote
they've
a
no trouble
memory aid
coughing
to
up the
recover the
membership
safe
fee.
code.
So after this, back out and load into Time to Die. You want to go to the 3 targets checkpoint. Now, again, this one will be a little bit longer than the rest, but I'm going to show you guys exactly how to get this done pretty quickly. So once spawning in, if you follow this exact path, you want to actually get to Ron Hernandez, which will require you to get a yoga mat to get inside. Now, once you get to Ramon Hernandez's location, that's where you will finally find the collectible. So simply follow my path. We're going to go down into the Tranquility Cave. You can follow the signs for it as well. And this is how you will get started on this. So simply make it down to the Tranquility Cave, and I'll show you guys the rest of the steps involved. Now, like the mission in the market, you will have to begin a small side quest in order to get this step done. Now, you'll notice you'll get past this bar. There's going to be this yellow cabana, and you just want to continue along this path until you find this small staircase to the right. Now, down in this cave, there's going to be a bunch of people doing yoga. And if you make your way around, you should be able to eavesdrop on the yoga instructor. Now, this is the first step you'll have to complete in order to actually get this done. So simply eavesdrop on the yoga instructor. Now, after eavesdropping on the yoga instructor, simply inspect this door that he'll move away from. It'll tell you guys that you need a specific key. Now, in order to get this key, simply wait for the yoga instructor to get to his post. This will take about a minute or so. And then at that point, you'll want to come over here where you can now ask the yoga instructor for help. Now, once they come over, they'll begin to instruct yoga, but don't worry too much about that. Just simply pick their pocket to grab the key and head back up to the door where you will find a blue yoga mat inside. Now that you have this blue yoga mat, you can actually use this yoga mat as a key to get to Ramon Hernandez, and luckily a waypoint will pop up after collecting this. So collect this, leave the room, and you should see a blue waypoint telling you to go to Ramon Hernandez. Simply follow this, and I'll show you guys where the collectible can be found. Now, once getting to Ramon Hernandez's location, you should simply be able to walk in so long as the yoga mat's on your back. You're going to see a main house here in the middle. You want to go ahead and enter inside where a small cutscene will continue on, and once this cutscene is over, you'll finally be able to get the collectible. So just after the cutscene, you will put down the yoga mat and just simply head to this room in the back where you will find a tarot card collectible, and now you can simply back out of the mission to go and collect some of the last few ones you need for the achievement. So after getting this tarot card collectible, back out and go to the Man of the Hour mission where you can very easily get some of the very last collectibles. What you'll want to do for this one is go down to the Betrayal checkpoint. Simply load into this, and luckily we can very easily get this one. So once inside the lab, simply head to the wearables room where you will find a collectible hat inside one of the dressing rooms. Now, the final collectible will be found in the Waves of the Future mission. You want to go into this one and simply go into the robotics department. Once inside, you'll find a bunch of different lab tests going on, and in the back corner of the map, you should see an experiment to the left of the main entrance. So as you can see, the objective points here, you want to head to the left, and in this back left corner, you should find the very last document you need to pick up, and you should also get the achievement. So hope this helps, and I will catch you guys in the next one.
Amazing work they do down there. Otis, the vet they brought in for testing, got his spine severed in his chocolate crash in Syria. You should have seen.
What could possibly go wrong?